time, downtown neighbors. In fact, for 35 years this year, celebrating our anniversary, the Jackson Antique Mall, and owner, founder, Tim Boss. Hi, Tim.
Bart, that was the aging sound. Did you hear that? That was a creaking antique.
Wow, 35 years.
35 years, yeah.
I can't do the math. What year did you start?
We bought in 87 and kind of opened up during around 88, a leap day-ish.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of history in that building, and a lot of things have come and go. Yeah. We currently house 60 different dealers, and we've expanded back down into the lower level, the AKA basement again, because we are full.
My goodness. You
Yeah.
know, I didn't, until you mentioned the year, I didn't realize that's when I first got to know you.
Yep.
Because Mr. Townley retired in 1988, and that's when I started downtown.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah, it's a long
And
time.
we have longevity. We have deep roots here, I think, you and myself. We are very community minded, and we're committed. You know what I mean? This is our backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a success, and you've survived all the ups and downs of the last 35 years. And it seems like every time I go in, it looks, like you've got more and more. And I don't think you've never had really a problem with vendors that really want to be there.
They do. In fact, our first couple spaces in the lower level were people who are already there. It's taken some 22 years to get up to the front room. And when we have somebody retire or move along, it starts a shift. And most generally, the people who are currently there are the ones who will take the available space. And they don't let any outsiders come in. I said, well, gosh, we need fresh blood. We need fresh blood. What are we going to do, But, oh yeah, we've seen the industry just change dramatically. I was just telling Trish the new generation is very much into the vintage clothing. And it's what we grew up with and what we knew, from Sears and Roebuck, the poison pants and the elephant things and all that stuff, and the 501 jeans, and now they love it.
Well, it's interesting, if you bought something brand new the year you opened, it'd almost be an antique today.
30 years old and mass-produced collectible.
Yeah.
There you go, yeah.
You brought some things,
I did.
This summer we've got the Memorial Holiday, Flag Day, 4th of July, so it's a patriotic time of year.
That's right. Yep, Karen says, well, let's talk about Americana. Now to me the best way to describe Americana is something that is symbolic of a decade that is instrumental in shaping, forming a good memory, bad memory, but it sticks in your head. And so I brought just a small sample of things that are kind of iconic for nostalgia reasons. Political is always there. Books are always there.
So we start over here?
Sure.
Okay.
The iconic political buttons, memorabilia will always be popular because that goes back hundreds of years. Okay. The Jackie, classical rhinestone jewelry. All the young girls love that stuff.
Jackie O would wear this.
Oh, yeah. That may not have been hers. But yeah. And as you were saying earlier today, the Matchboxes. Remember going down to Fields and Jacobson's to get Matchbox cars?
I actually had this very Matchbox, and I remember it because of
the dog?
The color.
Oh, the color?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and it has got
A little
suspension
spring.
system.
Yeah. Before its time. The iconic Charlie Brown. Okay, remember Snoopy, and we could go on with the types of memorabilia, the Coke-related toys, just Kodak. This is
Camera.
Yeah, the newest, the latest, and the greatest. Oh, and you know what? It came to me, Bart. I brought you a couple albums, the Beatles, the Monkees, all that stuff, iconic Americana.
Some of these things, they never went away, but they're back.
Yes.
Like film photography. I've seen people use this twin lens reflex cameras. It's just people want to do it old school.
Old school.
Yeah.
They're tapping back into the history. And to me, and maybe it's just what it is, but I prefer something of a vintage because it's clearer, deeper, stronger, like the LPs are. Vinyl is super, super popular right now. And I always ask clients, you know, what do you play on, a period piece or a modern? And about half will play on a modern, and our generation plays on old school. They don't want the bows, they don't want anything like that.
Yeah.
They want a tall, old school. There's a bass difference, there's a treble difference, there's a depth to it that you just can't reproduce today, even though with the technology, you know?
Yeah, and audiophiles are just adamant about the difference between digital and what's the other thing called? Digital and analog.
Now you're showing your 35 years now, Bart. Okay. Memorabilia like the baseball. What's more Americana than that?
Apple pie, Chevrolet.
You know what is weird? I almost stopped and got you a piece of apple pie. Instead, I brought you a Smiley mug. Okay.
Nice.
Do you remember the Smiley mug? That was all the crazy. It's symbolic of something that sets with us.
The guy that invented the smiley face, he made a bazillion dollars just for that drawing that, because he copyrighted it.
I work for a living. I'm not lucky like that, right? You know what I mean? And Grandma's Rockingham bowl, 1850s-ish. But bowls are one of the kind of loving institutions that every generation can understand because there's always a memory attached. Memory, 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 memory. Americana.
Now this is an autographed baseball.
Yeah.
Oh, Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
Joe Morgan. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. See, and each one of these Americana genres will have something attached where we can identify with it.
So this is very valuable. Pete Rose. You've got all the reds, several reds, right? Yeah, Big Red Machine.
Yep.
From so George Foster, Joe Morgan. Let's see, Dave Concepcion, Tony Perez.
Yeah.
Man, how much this is?
Respectfully priced.
125.
Right. You know, the newest craze for us is that the young folks will come in with their phones and do a little bit of researching. You know, and what I say to them is, you know, hey, it's right here in front of you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Either you like it or you don't. And
that must drive you nuts.
it kind of does, especially when we're
I could get this on eBay for.
Well, you know, there's a return policy on eBay, and the structure of getting it just delivered to you seems a little more convenient. I have a fine line between convenient and lazy. I don't. Maybe it's just me, right? And I feel like if it's in front of you, that's the beauty of antiquing, is to touch it and to be accepting of it right there. And it's impulsive.
And you can't even tell. I know all those used items have a million pictures, but you really can't tell
until you touch it.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the one thing that the internet will never be able to replace. Fine, we can take it back, we can look at it, we can get a one-sided view, but there's nothing better than touching something or feeling connected to it because it's right in front of you.
Oh wow, Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah.
An autographed Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So our building, you know, it lends itself to this kind of genre because it's from one end to the other. One end to the other.
Do you personally collect anything?
I collect things that talk to me or describe themselves close to what I would expect one to look like. And I know that sounds like a mouthful, but it can be of any era. But if I look at it and say, damn, that talks to me, like that's one of those samples. That's what my house is, very eclectic.
So it's just, it could be any, could be sports, could be jewelry, could be anything.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting house.
Because everything has, you know, a fashion and a fad, there's things, they get hot and then they go, what's hot right now?
Vinyl, LPs, baseball memorabilia, political things are popular. Textiles are still stable, very stable. That can be a quilt, a doily, linens, bark cloth, because they're multifunctional. The other that we're seeing, jewelry, will have it's forever. That's very, very personal.
Now, all year, big celebration, 35 years.
Yeah.
Any you marking in a particular day or a special event? Or?
No, not really. It's just been strong maintenance of the building and the atmosphere around us because we've had employees that have passed that have been with us for many years or retire. So it's kind of like Bonnie and myself and John and just a couple people that are just pushing that baby through.
Well, for one, I appreciate all that you do for the community and for downtown. You've made that building, that business, a showplace and a destination. The creative displays that you put in the window, constantly updated. It's really, I like to go over. I take time to make sure I look in the windows every
right.
time you change it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well,
we
I appreciate
it.
that. Thank you very much. No, because that's really why we do what we do, because it's in us and we love it. And it's a reflection of our efforts and our talents, and other people need to feel as strongly as we do about them.
Great. Well, congratulations to you and
Thank you.
Bonnie and I know your folks and your family and all the people that you have on your team. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Bart. I appreciate it.
The 35th year of the Jackson Antique Mall and Tim Boss. Up next, we'll celebrate